Hey, Dan here. And I just want to say thank you so much for trusting us with your website development project. I just wanted to take a couple minutes really quick to talk to you a little bit about the overview of how things are going to flow, what we need, and what we can do to help kind of make this process run smoothly for you and for us as well too. The first thing I want to talk about is some of the things that we need to get started on your project. There's a handful of things. First, if you have a logo, anything like that, or any special images and pictures, we'll need all of that stuff. If you have a photo shoot or anything like that needs to happen, take pictures of yourself or your business or your brand or your book or whatever. Let's go ahead and get those done. The sooner we can get that stuff up front, the better, the easier it goes for us. Along with logos and images, any other page content, if you need help and guidance on how to develop any of that stuff, think about things like for your about page, you and your brand and whatever better than we do. Anything that you can provide us along the lines of content, again, up front, the sooner we can get that, the better, the smoother that's going to make the project go. If you need help developing that content, we do have services where we can help provide and do some of that content development, particularly if we're talking about SEO content. We can help out with that a little bit too. There are some SEO content development services that do carry an additional charge. Whatever we can do to help kind of make that process go smoother. But even still, if we're developing SEO content, we like to try to get that done before we actually do any of the website development. It makes the website development phase of the project and stuff go much smoother. If you have any login credentials, if you're using another hosting service aside from Fistbump Media, or also with your WordPress installation itself. If you can share login credentials with us or add us, with credentials for our team to be able to access what we need to access. Grab some of that stuff up front too. And also too, not only related to logos, images, content, but a style guide. That's something too that we like to try to make sure is figured out and set up front, figuring out what kind of fonts we need to use, the color palette, all of that stuff. The sooner we can lock that down, that makes the whole design part of the process that we'll talk about in a minute go much smoother as well too, so that we're not trying to figure that stuff out on the fly. Now, when it comes to things like logo and style guide and branding standards and stuff too, if that's something you need help with as well too, we do also have services that can help do logo design and figure out the whole branding style guide and give you a brand board with all the fonts and the colors and all that stuff and everything as well too. So let us know if you need help with that. Again, just like the content, that is something that we like to try to lock down ahead of time before the actual website development project gets started. So the sooner we can help with that, the better. From there, the next thing I want to talk to you about is your client dashboard. When you log into your Fistbump Media account with us, just at fistbumpmedia.com, hit the client login button up in the header. You'll log into your account, and in here, we do have a project dashboard. And this is something that we'll use to help kind of keep updates on the project from our end, to help manage the flow and everything related to it and stuff too. But you also have access to a view for that within your project dashboard or within your client dashboard. You just go to My Projects. And if you have projects pending with us and stuff, then you'll see, you might have a website development with your website name.com in there and showing the status of the project. You'll even see a history of previous projects that we've worked on with you in this space as well too. But just really quick, taking a look at that project. You'll see set tasks that we have associated with the project and the status of those tasks, if we've completed them or if they're still pending. You'll see all kinds of information on here too. The due date that we have set. You can even add task information into this if you need to, and you can also upload files as well too. So if you need to share an image or a document or whatever with us, you can do that right here from your project dashboard. You'll also see any invoices associated with this project in particular, and also we may or may not use support tickets to help kind of feed communication related to your project as well too. So if there are support tickets associated with your project to help kind of track some of that communication, that can also be here as well too. So this is kind of a central dashboard, if you will, for anything related to your project. Now, as it relates to some of that file upload stuff, if we have a lot of files, lots of images, things like that we need to manage too, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll set up a Google Drive instead, so you don't have to sit here and manually upload an image or two at a time or whatever. So if you do, the person working with you on your website development project will help make sure we set up that Google Drive with you so that you can just upload files online very quickly and easily that way. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the design process. So generally speaking, and we do reserve the right to kind of change this up depending on the needs of the project, the scope of the project and stuff too. But generally speaking, our projects will go through three main phases. The first phase being layout and design. Typically in this phase, what we'll do is we'll kind of map out and do like the homepage and the headers and footers and make sure colors and logos and fonts and all that stuff are all in place. And really, ultimately, the goal of that is not to approve content specifically, but to really approve the look and the feel. So we won't do all of the pages on the website in this phase. We'll really focus on the homepage, maybe one other page or something like that as well too. Header, footer, fonts, colors, all that stuff and everything as well. Once we lock that down and get your approval on the layout, the design, the style, right, then we'll move on to the actual full development phase. And the development phase is then where we really look at making sure we've got all the specific content, specific images, things like that loaded into, and start building out all of the rest of the pages associated with your website at that point as well too. So the development phase, then we'll work through all the pages. You'll have an opportunity to review those, check those off the list and everything too, as well as far as what needs to be done. Once that development phase is done, then we'll go through a round of edits and revisions. Okay. Hopefully at this point, because we've already figured out and approved in the first phase the design, we're not going back and we're not changing colors and all that stuff at that point too. We can if we need to. Right. But then we might be talking about additional scope and cost and everything too as well, to have to go back and redo everything. And that's the reason we want to lock that down, that design in that first phase, is so that we don't have to change it across multiple pages on the website later on and stuff too. We're going to really build the rest of that development based on that approved design. But we'll end up hopefully in this final round of edits and revisions. Hopefully changes should be pretty minimal. But if there are tweaks and things that we need to adjust or whatever too, we can certainly help do that. If there are minor spelling changes, typically that might kind of fall into a place where, especially if it's a website you plan on updating and maintaining later on and stuff too, hey, I found one little typo. We can certainly fix some of that stuff and everything too, but hopefully that content is locked down again too, even up front. That's one of the reasons why we try to have that content kind of maximized. But I don't want you to feel like, we can never change a typo that might be on the website. We can certainly do that, but hopefully, with our developers, we can kind of minimize the amount of time that they're fixing typos. And if that's something that we can give you access to, show you how to make page updates yourself, then that's fantastic as well too. From there, really, as we wrap things up and finish this round of edits and revisions, hopefully just one round of kind of pass through, make sure everything's all good stuff, and we're ready to go live. We'll kind of move into that, wrap things up and start to go live. Once we push out the updates, it may take a little bit of time sometimes. A lot of times the updates and changes are pretty instantaneous. It's kind of a refresh your page and boom, everything should be there. But depending on caching issues and stuff like that too as well, maybe with your internet service provider and whatnot too, there, it may take a little while for some updates to show up and appear and everything too, but we'll get everything pushed out, pushed live. If you don't already have all the logins and everything that you need, we'll make sure we deliver those and everything as well too, so that you have a record of all of that yourself once we get that website launched. Also too, once you launch, if you need ongoing support or help with your website, we're always happy to kind of loop back, even if we kind of close out the project, and just kind of do follow up as needed. If you're working around and go, oops, we forgot to fix this piece, or this doesn't work exactly right, we can do that. If you are a Fist Bump Media hosting client in your website, you will have this contact Fist Bump Media support widget within your website. And when you pull that up, as long as that email address right there that is showing from is the email address that matches up with your account with us, then this will send this information over to us and open a support ticket on our end too as well. And we're happy to kind of jump in and help follow up and make any corrections or tweaks or revisions or fixes, whatever we need along the way. Also, I would like to encourage you as well too, once your website is live, just building a website and just putting it out there. It's not, hey, if you build it, they will come kind of thing. Sometimes it takes a little bit just ongoing work, thinking about your search engine optimization or whatever stuff too, or maybe there's other elements of your strategy. Maybe you're running the blog and need some guidance and help with that too as well. I want to encourage you to check out our Fist Bump Media Academy, just at academy.fistbumpmedia.com. And we have several e-courses in here. So if you check out our library of courses, we have some big courses. We have some kind of medium. We have some pretty low cost ones. See some for under $50, and then we even have some free ones as well too. So depending on kind of what you need, if you're looking to boost your email subscribers, we even have a course in here as well too. Here's one's a 31-day challenge to kind of with different tasks for 31 days to work through and help you kind of improve your stuff. How to SEO blog. This is one that's really impacted a lot of our writers, bloggers, and how they actually set up and create their content stuff too. But you see several courses in there too, and we are constantly working to continue to develop and improve that library over time. So with that, I just want to say thanks. And if there's anything that we can do, myself or the team, to help you out with your project along the way too, don't hesitate to let us know. We're always here and happy to help, and can't wait to see your new website go live. It's going to be awesome. So with that, just have a big fist bump for you, and have a fantastic